We're going to do this very quickly, okay? We are going to do this super quickly. So I'm going to put Carson up first. I have asked 3 people to share how they solved this problem. I'm going to read it again. It is Sam had 54 buttons in his collection. Miss Bailey gave Sam 40 more buttons to add to his collection. Now, how many buttons does Sam have in his collection? So Carson, I'm putting Carson's work up here first. So Carson, talk to us about what you did, and talk nice and loud for Miss Toles.
I counted on from, I already had 54 plus 40, then I counted on 10 would be 64, then 10 more 74, 10 more 84, 10 more 94, and now he has 94 buttons in all.
Okay, I noticed up there you have 4 tens circled. Tell me, why did you circle those 4 tens?
Because it says Miss Bailey gave him 40 more buttons, and 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 has 40.
Okay, good, thank you. Now, you can have a seat, Carson. Now I'm going to ask Remel to come up, and Remel talk us through what you did. And I helped Remel after she solved her problem. I helped Remel go back and see how Carson showed his using only numbers after he drew his picture, so we could see both the numbers and his picture. So I wanted Remel to do the same thing. So after Remel drew her picture, Miss Toles did help her show how to write it with just numbers. So she could relate, she could match up her strategy with numbers. So go ahead, Remel. I'm going to sit down so you can have it.
First, Sam had 54 buttons, so I broke the 54, and I took the 4 away, and then I drawed 50, like 5 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, plus 40, and then I counted on from 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and I took the 4 together and connected with the 90, and then I counted on by ones, 91, 92, 93, 94.
Okay. And then up in the corner in the right, you will see that's just where Miss Toles modeled or showed Remel how to write it in numbers, where I took the 54 and I broke it into, like she did here, her 50, there it is, her 4, there it is, plus her 40. And then as she said, she went back and she put her 50 and her 40 together, as you can see right here in her picture. And the 4 was still over here, but she got 90 and then she added the 4 and then 94. And you can see how she got 90 and then she counted on. So this is a beautiful picture of what she did. This is a beautiful number picture. This is using only numbers to show what she did. Okay? So those 2 things have to match. If you're going to draw a picture and you're going to write the numbers, they need to look alike. They need to show the same strategy. Okay, thank you, Remel. And then finally, we have Olivia. She's going to come up. And then after this is over, we are going to take just a few minutes and we're going to talk about how these strategies are alike and different. So talk to us, Olivia, about what you did.
I had my 45, and then I added.
Stop right there just 1 second. Let's go back and look at that number one more time for me. You said 45. What number is that?
54.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I had 54, and then I added 10, and then I added another group of 10, and another group of 10, and another group of 10. So I had 54 in my head, and I counted on 4 more 10s. That makes 40. Since Sam has 54 buttons, and Miss Bailey added 40. So I say 54 plus 10 equals 64, plus 10, 74, plus 10, 84, plus 10, 94. And I figured out that it was 94.
Okay. Now, good job. Thank you, Olivia. Have a seat. Now, we're going to look at some. I'm going to put these all up on the board here. Okay, let me start. Here's Remel's. here is Olivia's. Okay. I want you to look at these strategies. What do you see that they all have in common? Let's talk about that. What do they have in common? Joseph, what do they have in common?
Tens.
Okay, they all use tens, you're right. They all broke it into, we all have some tens. We either added multiples of 10, what we call mini tens. They broke the 40 into tens and added it on here and here and here. You're right. Why would they do that? Why did everybody break this into some tens here? Why are we using tens? Why, hun?
Because because there's groups of 10s and 40 and 63.
You mean 54?
Yeah.
It's hard to see. I need to pull that down. You're right. There are 10 groups of 10 and 54 and 40. That's something they have in common. Does that make it easier to add? Why does it make it easier to add? Because they have a lot of 10s in them. Why?
Because they either have 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 10s, and they're made up of 10. And how many groups of 10s they need to be used with is how they have their 10s.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Is it easier to count by 10s than it maybe is ones
Yes.
with a big number? Why? Why?
Because you don't have to count that much.
Right, it's not as much, so you're less likely to make a mistake. Let's take a really quick look, because we're almost out of time, between Carson and Olivia use the exact same strategy. They added up in chunks of 10. But theirs looks a little different. Why does it look different? Why does it look different?
Because Olivia did a number line and doing that thing.
Jumps. She drew a number line and then jumps of 10.
Yes.
And what did Carson do?
Did 10 fragments.
Yeah. Well, he drew. Yes, you're right. He drew what we call a base 10 model. This is what we call a base 10 model. That's the fancy math word for it, base 10 model. And she drew a number line to do it. Exact same strategy. These are just what we call different models. Models are just pictures of what's happening right here. Okay? So they just drew different models, but their strategy is exactly the same. So to close, I just want to name these strategies so you'll know, okay? We often just refer to this one as place value strategy. Why do you think we call that place value strategy? What did Riemel do? What did she add together? What? Why do we call it that?
She added the 50 and the 40 together.
Which are your groups of what?
10.
Tens. And then she added her what?
1.
And her one. So place value strategy just means you're adding all your